What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome back to another video. I hope everybody's doing well, and yeah, let's get straight into things. So hopefully you've watched yesterday's video. I was anticipating a down close day, and we did get a down close day, and I was expecting us to start reaching towards this weekly fair value gaps. So we are on the weekly. I am going to refer back to this purely because I want to talk about the 50% level off this wick and the fact that we did respect it, and then I'm going to draw our attention to this level as well. So let's go down to the daily now, and you'll see today's price action, and you'll see we traded up. We didn't quite trade into the bearish order block open. We did trade into the lower fit though, right here, and then we got our reaction. So this created the high of the day, and then off the back of moving towards CPI, price traded lower, didn't it? And what's going to be interesting is that as we drop to the low time frames, you go as we drop down to the low time frames, you're going to see how much price respected these levels, and then hopefully you can see how and why I'm starting to use these weekly 50% levels, 25% levels, etc. to help frame my setups and such. So quite an interesting day. I am still bearish. I do still want to see down close candles, or I'm still looking for a willingness to try and reach our weekly fair value gap. So the reason for that is because we remain bearish until proven otherwise. We're still respecting bearish PD arrays. For example, this bearish order block, although we didn't trade into the open of it, we did trade to the lower fit. We had a reaction from it. So it's still respecting bearish PD arrays. So there's no reason for us to think that price should be wanting or thinking about moving higher right now. Let's quickly drop down to the 4-hour. And you'll see this is what I mean. So price traded higher, and look at the volume. Look at how it's respecting the weekly 50%, which is what we call consequent encroachment. Wicked up to create the high, and then some beautiful displacement to the downside. We ran down into a rejection block level right here. We didn't quite take out these lows, not yet anyway. I do want to see if price can try and reach down into that tomorrow. So I am going to show you why that is. So we have some south side liquidity below there. Rejection block, we came off of it, off CPI. CPI does tend to be very messy because you'll see how it was whipping back and forth. That's why I don't tend to like trading CPI, but the run before CPI was absolutely gorgeous, especially on euro. So make sure to join the Discord because I did message in there about the run to see who was active. Nonetheless, 50% consequent encroachment. And then what's also interesting is the fact that we're still respecting that. So what you'll find is that we have a bearish order block right here, and look at how volume is respecting that as well currently. So let's get that drawn out, and we can mark that as let's make it blue, and we'll call it a 4-hour bearish order block. We'll move that to the right, and you'll see our price traded right back into it, and then it's wicking off it, and you can see we're just consolidating around it right now. So as far as I'm concerned, so long as price stays below this 4-hour bearish order block, I'm happy to remain short on dollar with the expectation to run out that Wednesday low and try and reach for this south side liquidity. We do still have high impact news tomorrow. Let me see what news it is. Bear with me. So we do still have high impact news tomorrow. We have jobless claims, which I do like to trade generally speaking. So that should help send price lower and try and reach for south side liquidity, so long as we continue to respect the 4-hour bearish order block. We also have some high impact news on GBP as well, but we'll talk about that when we get to that pair. Another thing I want to draw our attention to is this down close candle. As this is the last down close candle before the up move, this is what we call a breaker. So again, we're trading back into a breaker technically, which is even more reason why we should expect continued downwards price action. If price was to trade back above and get above that weekly 50% level and start running towards these highs, then we can start thinking about longs and thinking about filling that massive daily fair value gap that we've created. However, the fact that we're below 50% of the wick from the weekly level as well, price shouldn't need to get back above there for now. Another thing I want to talk about is, again, hopefully you've watched yesterday's video. If you haven't, I do suggest watching it. But I was saying I'm expecting a reversal at the end on Thursday, and the reason for that was because of how quickly we got down to this discount on Tuesday. So I'll say that again. Tuesday ran absolutely crazy. We moved all the way lower, and then we just had a little continuation today with CPI. So moving into Thursday is now when I'm expecting a potential reversal. Ideally, we can get into the sell side and try and reach the weekly fair value gap. However, price doesn't need to necessarily do that. We could still get a reversal without price even reaching the sell side liquidity. We may find that we create a low in London, and then based off the jobless claims, price then expands and there's setups forming for the rest of Thursday and Friday. So I am expecting a reversal tomorrow, ideally during London, and obviously I'd based off that, I'd want to see some downwards price action running. I mean, yeah, ideally during New York, that the reversal forms. But until the New York session, I'm looking for price to trade lower first, because we're looking and anticipating manipulation. And this is all so long as we continue to respect the 4-hour bearish order block and this breaker right here. High, low, higher high, displacement. We've simply just traded into it right now as we're about to enter the Asia range. So it'll be interesting to see how the Asia range acts. And then it'll be nice to see if we can take out that Wednesday low. Now, if we don't take out that Wednesday low, so let me get that marked out real quick. If price doesn't take out that Wednesday low, it's not the end of the world. And the reason for that is because it will show more strength on dollar. So if it fails to take out this low, that's just strength on dollar that we can use to set up expecting longs. Because remember, we're anticipating a reversal on the Thursday since we moved so fast on the Tuesday. This is really complex, guys, I do understand. But hopefully you'll know what I mean. Because price will either grab these stops and then reverse, or it's going to stay above, hold price, and then we're going to find a lot of expansion to the upside. So we do need to be wary of that. Ideally I want to see us take out the sell side and start reaching for this weekly fair value gap, only because of how expansive this week would have been. And then, you know, it'll get us in a much more better position moving into the coming weeks. Let's go to the 15-minute, and you'll see our price traded lower. Again, this is that rejection block level that we traded into. Beautiful bounce off it right here, and you can see how we're just consolidating around that 4-hour bearish order block. So right now, all I'm doing is watching to see how price continues to treat it. I want to see price move away from it. Like I said, I do believe this is just manipulation, this pullback. I think they're just running out anyone that went short. I think they're just taking them all out so that they can continue lower and then potentially give us a reversal at that 8:30 off the back of retail sales tomorrow. Nonetheless, if we do take out that 4-hour bearish order block, so if we trade these highs, basically is where it's all going to change. If we trade above this, whole nother story, and we can start thinking about longs. But like I said, I only doubt that's going to happen until tomorrow afternoon. So that's going to be everything on dollar. I hope that will make sense. Again, very interesting day. It's nice to see that we are continuing with our bias, down close candles, and there is still a willingness to want to reach lower. But like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if price did just, turn on a dime in terms of on Thursday and start trading higher. So ideally we get down here, but I wouldn't be surprised if price failed to, and then we do get a stronger reversal for most of the movement. In that case, that's when I'll start looking at this fair value gap to get traded to. But until then, I want to see, can we trade on lower? And obviously Asia range is going to help us with that, and then ideally the London as well. So that's going to be everything on dollar. Let's now head on to GBP USD. We'll start here on the daily now. GBP stresses me out. As you know, if you've been watching me for a while, GBP's been stressing me out for the past 2 months at this point. Just a lot of consolidation. If we're expecting a lower dollar, that means we can expect a potential run on pound again. We did grab these stops, which is nice to see. Let's go to the weekly real quick, see how we're looking. I'm going to get rid of this for now. So yeah, we traded above this fair value gap. I was talking about this fair value gap as a potential reach for price. So it'll be interesting to see if price can actually get up there, to create that high, whilst dollar does trade on lower. Again, we're looking at this last up close candle. This should act as a breaker. So if we trade back into that, I expect it to provide support. If it starts getting below that 50% level, so any lower than that, it starts getting really heavy, then we can probably expect that. We can probably expect that to be the reversal we're looking for, and then look for shorts. But generally speaking, I'm expecting, a continuation to the upside ideally. Let's go to the 4-hour, and you'll see how we're just pulling back into our range. Nothing too crazy. And again, it's just a matter of watching how price treats this level once it gets to it, and then see if it will respect it. We do have a bearish order block right here, these 3 down close candles, which happen to line up with the breaker. So this should act as a propulsion block, because again, there's no reason for us to be bearish right now, guys. Although we've had a massive expansion and we've made some nice swing highs and we're taking out buy stops, our target is here. This is where the imbalance is. So we need to remember that and expect price to draw to it like a magnet. Other than that, unless it starts disrespecting bearish PD arrays, which it hasn't yet, then we should remain bullish, which is why I'm going to be watching this level. As soon as it drops below this level, then fair enough. It's telling us, okay, we want to go lower. But generally speaking, I want to see how does it treat it. Can we get one more run before a Thursday reversal? But this week does look like it's going to be a Thursday reversal. However, again, CPI weeks can be a bit crazy. Let's go to the 15-minute. Beautiful rally on pound, and then this weird displacement to the downside which I saw, and since then we've just been in a consolidation. That's why I'm a little bit weary with pound, but I am expecting continued movement and, you know, volume, there's a word, expansive movement generally speaking tomorrow. So let's get that high marked out as a buy side target, and I can imagine there's going to be a lot of people going short because they think that's a high made. And don't get me wrong, it could be, but I don't want it to be, because I want to see us trade into the fair value gap here. I want to see dollar trade down into its its sell side liquidity pools before we get an actual reversal, because as far as I'm concerned, just turning on a dime like that on a Wednesday is too good to be true and too easy, if that makes sense. But we'll talk more on that tomorrow. We're going to finish up on Euro USD, and you'll see that Euro traded beautifully right into our target just as we called out yesterday. If you haven't watched yesterday's video, go watch it. But I was talking about this rejection block level, and voila, did it deliver? Yes, it did, into the weekly fair value gap. So the fact that Euro's traded into its target, I'm probably going to leave Euro alone a little bit tomorrow. I doubt Euro's... See, I'm happy for Euro to have made its high because it traded into its target, as in we wanted to see it reach a weekly fair value gap. It reached it. I'm happy, you know. But we can now look at the, you know, the wicks here, and this should help us frame price. So the consequent encroachment, for example, this may be the rally that we're expecting here, whilst we may find GBP trading on higher and then dollar trading on lower to create the low tomorrow. So that's how I'm looking at Euro right now. At the wicks, let's go to the 4 hour. A little bit consolidated nonetheless, and then again this is a rejection block level, so I'd like to see, can we rally into that maybe during London and then get our Thursday reversal that we're waiting on. We'll drop down to the 1 hour, a little consolidation. Again, we haven't had clear displacement yet, so there's still a ability and there's still availability, so to speak, for price to wander on up there, which is why we need to be careful and you know, aware of that. Yes, we've made a high. It's not necessarily the end though, and like I said, I can imagine there's gonna be a lot of retail with their stops above there, so why wouldn't they want to go grab it if they can? 15-minute consolidation again. I am eventually expecting a reversal tomorrow, but I do want to see it again on the back of the news, 8:30. So yeah, that's going to be everything, guys. I hope that will make sense. But overall, I'm looking to see rallies all morning until New York 8:30, where I'd ideally like to see some kind of reversal form. And to be honest, it doesn't matter if so say this high isn't taken out, or let's say dollar doesn't manage to take out this low but it gets to 8:30, I am still expecting a reversal just because of how weeks deliver. So remember, we ran really fast on the Tuesday, we created this beautiful low on the Wednesday, and although we want to see this low get taken and want to see deeper price action, there should be a reversal on the Thursday just because of how quick price moved on the Tuesday. So that's why I'm expecting a reversal. But yeah, it is what it is. So that's going to be everything, guys. I hope that all makes sense. Don't forget to drop a like, drop a comment, smash subscribe, join the mailing list, join the Discord. I'll catch you in tomorrow's video. Peace.